In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a value scale using charcoal on gray toned paper. First thing you're going to need to do is create an area where you will create your value scale. So I'm going to grab a ruler and a pencil. The paper I'm giving you has enough for you to create 2 rectangles. So that's what we're going to do. You don't need to measure out the width. I'm just using the width of the ruler. And I'm drawing my lines in pencil. I'm going to scoot the ruler down. I'm doing it again. Okay, so I've got 2 sections. The other thing I really want you to do is write your name somewhere on this page. So I'm going to write Ms. D because I don't have an endless amount of toned paper. You can continue to use this to do tests while you're doing your project. Now in my top section, I want to divide it into 9 sections. So if it is 11 inches wide, I'm going to just make myself a mark every inch. Okay, and you can use your ruler to make these lines like nice and neat, but if you just want to eyeball it, that's fine with me since this is just for practice. Alright, and then we are just going to X out the first and the last box, and this is what we will create our value scale in. I want you to label them 1 through 9. Like so. All right, so in this value scale, 1 represents white and 9 represents black. So I'm going to take my charcoal pencils. I should have an extra soft, a soft, a medium, and a white. I'm going to start with my white, and I'm going to shade in the 1. Now, small circular strokes are what we're going for here, okay? I don't want to see big zigzaggy lines. That's not going to give you a nice blended texture. That's not what we want. So I'm doing my small circular strokes. I'm also not pressing down too hard. I can always go back over, but I find if I press too hard with these charcoal pencils, it starts to leave like divots in your paper, and that's not what you want. That won't look very nice. So we're gonna let the layering of the charcoal do all of the work. My first layer wrapping up here, and then I just need to go back over any areas that I feel are looking a little bit thin. Make sure it has that really nice pure white color, because this will represent the highlights. The highlights start with pure white. Okay, I'd say that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to find my extra soft pencil. I'm going to go over to the 9. And I am going to do the same thing, those nice small round strokes to fill in this 9, and I'm going to do multiple layers to get it pure black. Now, I know some of you are going to get impatient and you're going to want to do these big strokes. Don't. Part of your good craftsmanship is your small circular strokes and multiple layers. So take your time. You will be given plenty of time to complete this project. There is no need to rush. However, for the sake of this video, I will speed up at different points. So you can watch this at like 2 times speed so that you don't have to sit there watching me circle endlessly, because that's not a good use of your time. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video now so you can watch me layer and get it completely black. Okay, when you're done, you're going to notice you have a lot of charcoal dust on your paper. I don't want you to wipe it with your fingers, that'll smear it all over. Instead, I just want you to gently tap your paper on your table to get it off. And then we will clean up that mess at the end of class. So, I've got white, I've got black. Now, I'm going to go into my middle at number 5. And I'm going to do a layer of white with a layer of medium on top. So 5 should be the midpoint. So I'm going in pretty light with my white, not putting a lot of pressure on my pencil at all. If it helps, you can also hold your pencil further back. That will stop you from being able to put too much pressure at one time. Again, I'm doing my circular strokes. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my medium pencil. This is the hardest pencil I have for charcoal. I'm going to do a light pressure of the charcoal on top of the white. Now, this is why the circular strokes are so important. Circular strokes promote blending. Alright, straight lines will not blend the same way. Think of it like if you were mixing some cake batter. When you mix your cake batter, you don't just mix up and down. You have to go in a circle to get all the ingredients incorporated. So I'm doing these small circular strokes all throughout. I'm going to speed this up for you. You're going to watch me switching back and forth between the white and the black to get a good blend. Okay, I'm just going to constantly switch between the two, and sometimes you might see me grab a piece of paper towel, wrap it around my finger, and do small circular strokes to blend the two together. Alright. Now some people might use a blending stump for this. This classroom doesn't have too many blending stumps. I find that this paper towel works just as well. So I'm going to speed this up and you're going to watch me get to that middle gray. Alright, so now I've got my middle gray value, so I know where I start, where I end, and what I'm working towards in each direction. Now I can pick either end to start with. I'm going to start with my 2. And I'm going to go in with my white oil pastel, not oil pastel, I'm sorry, my white charcoal. You tell that my mind's still on our last project. And I'm going in with a very light touch. Okay, very light touch. It's easy for me to go lighter by pressing harder, but it will be harder for me to take it back. So I'm being very, very gentle. I'm going to start my second flare. I want it to be a little bit darker than my pure white. Okay, so I'm letting more of the gray of the paper come through. I'm really making sure that all of my areas are even. If some are appearing a little darker than others, I can go in and fix that. And then I can go in with my paper towel wrapped finger. I should pick a clean area. Wrap my finger. And blend. So again, I could also be doing this with my blending stump. Or I've also seen people do this with a clean paintbrush, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find a clean paintbrush in my art room, so that might not be the best bet. All right, there's my number 2 value, and I'm gonna go number 3. This time I'm going even darker, so that means I'm putting a lighter touch on my pencil. Okay. Go in with my paper towel and blend. Notice I'm doing the circular strokes with my finger as well. All right, so I'm noticing that these two are very, very similar. So what I might do is go back to my 2 and give it another light layer of the white to make it a little bit lighter. I'm going to do my strokes a little bit bigger just for the sake of time. Know that your strokes should stay very, very small. And blend. That's better. Okay, and I'm going to go to 4. And I'm going to do very little white now. And then I'm going to do the smallest brush of medium onto this. Remember, tiny, tiny circular strokes for blending purposes. And blend it out with your paper towel. Alright. Then I'm going to hop on number 6. In this one, I'm still going to use a little bit of white. And then I'm going to grab my soft charcoal. And I'm going to lay it on. The soft charcoal is going to make marks a little bit easier because it is a softer pencil. That means more charcoal will come off with every stroke. And then, just like before, I will blend. A tiny bit more of the soft, just because these two are looking very similar right now. And blend. Alright, then I'm going to move on to number 7. I'm going to use just my soft charcoal for this. So I'm staying pretty light on my pressure. And I'm going to grab another clean spot on my paper towel so that there's no white contaminating it. There we go. And then lastly, my 8, I'm going to find my extra soft pencil. And I'm going to shade in the 8. I'm using pretty light pressure here. Because remember, you can always do another layer, but it's hard to take it away. One thing you'll notice with the soft and extra soft is they're going to blend a little easier, so the strokes are going to go a little bit faster. And then blend. think I might like to do one more layer of the extra soft. One last blend. Okay, now I'm thinking this is a little too dark. So the one way I can attempt to save it, I'm going to take my moldy eraser and I'm going to dab at my 8 section to try and pick up just a little of the charcoal. When the eraser starts picking up, it means it is full. So I just bend it over, I find a new spot, and I dab some more. Keep finding new spots on the eraser to dab with. One last blend to smooth it out. Find a fresh spot on your paper towel. All right, and there we go. I have a complete value scale.